a security analyst and a member of the Hasan Kalyoncu University's Faculty of Security Studies. He joins me now from Gaziantep here in Turkey. Murat, good to have you on the show. One of the more interesting comments that I read in the lead up to this two-day NATO summit in London came out of the U.S. Defense Secretary, the chief of the Pentagon, where Mark Esper said that not everyone sees the threats that they see. Obviously, we know what we're talking about, but does this mean that some NATO countries still do not understand some of Turkey's national security concerns?
For sure. And it's the mood and spirit of NATO, as you know, because the Treaty of NATO and also the summit in 2010 in Lisbon reconfirms to defend the territories of the member states. And we know that PKK, PYD, YPG, whatever you say, they attacked Turkish territory many times by means of mortars, rockets, and infiltrated and attacked Turkish military. So there is a concrete act of terrorism, whoever they are, and Turkey has lost thousands. Then Turkey expects NATO countries to respond to this terror threat not only by means of military, because Turkey does not expect it, by psychological support, by sentiments, by acts in international realm. So once the United States or European allies refrain themselves from supporting Turkey against this threat, then the problem starts, because Turkey's expectation is a concrete and full partnership or alliance under the umbrella of NATO.
All right. Here's another question to you. I just want to sort of look forward, because what we're seeing in northwestern Syria, specifically in Idlib, is that despite a de-escalation zone being declared in Astana, a demilitarized zone, a de-escalation zone, in which Russia was a guarantor to this. We're seeing Russia and Russian-backed Assad forces continue their attacks, continue their strikes. The question is, if Turkey is pushing forward with this safe zone, does it at all risk sometime in the future actions by Russia and the Assad regime to incur into this safe zone?
As you know, if you're in a conflict, you have to abide by the rules and norms. Turkey preferred first diplomatic means, and later than that, Turkey started military acts. And the diplomatic channel that was run through the negotiations, Turkey stopped military operation in east of Euphrates River. So there was a military intervention, that's correct, along with Syrian National Army, to build a safe zone to prevent infiltrations and also build an area for the civilians, immigrants. And also there was another channel that built up a zone that will satisfy the security needs of Turkey. So the future of this zone will be dependent on to what extent all the parties are compliant with the prerequisites of these agreements, either with the United States and also Russia. If they agree and also implement it, Turkey will stick to the promises. If they don't, Turkey will start another military operation maybe in future to, ensure their security.
All right. It's interesting that you said that, because just moments ago, the U.S. and French presidents sort of wrapped up a news conference in London. Just moments ago, President Trump spoke about the relations between his country and Turkey. Here's what he had to say, and I'm going to come back to you.
Well, I can only say we have a very good relationship with Turkey and with President Erdogan. I do. As you know, Turkey wanted to buy our Patriot system, and the Obama administration wouldn't let them. And they only let them when they were ready to buy another system, which is not the same system. But Turkey, for a long period of time, wanted very much to buy the Patriot system, which is our system, which is what NATO uses, which is a great system, which is the best system. But they wouldn't sell it to Turkey. So, there are two sides of the story. I have to say this. But we will be discussing that with Turkey in a little while. We'll be meeting with Turkey in a little while, and also tomorrow.
All right, let's bring in Murat back in. Murat, you just listened to what the president said. Quite a different tone when you compare it to what the French president, Emmanuel Macron, said in the last hour, questioning how Turkey could be a member of NATO and purchase the S-400 missile defense system. Said this is not technically possible. So how does the alliance move forward on this?
I think we should first question why France is insisted on delineating S-400 issue and also Turkey's situation in Syria. Because France is out of the bounds of S-400 deal with Russia and also problems with the United States. It's between them. The second thing, we have also a parallel agreement with France to procure, as you know, SAMP air defense systems, and we will produce it together with France as Turkey. Then the problem starts, I think, from the point that France perceives themselves in a position of where France represents for them the continental interests of Europe as, within the belief that they are the leader of it. This is a traditional perception of France. So their judgment of Turkey is a bit biased and based on prejudices because France is, in a competition not only with the United States but also Germany. So it's a kind of political turbulence in Europe that reflects on Turkey's situation, either in Syria or with the relations with Europe.
Right. Murat Aslan live for us from Gaziantep. Thank you very much. All right.